Rack, repeat, acknowledge, question. Shout out to Coach Sharpen. He really got me hip to this. And when I started implementing this in my sales negotiations and my cold calls and just everyday life, like it literally changed the trajectory of my ratios. What you got to understand is you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You should be listening 80% of the time and talking 20% of the time. What I notice is a lot of salespeople, they listen 99% of the time and talk 1% of the time. Like if you let a potential client talk and talk and talk and talk, they sure will. There's certain points and times where you need to stop them in their tracks and pull out the pain, right? Pull out the problem, because a lot of time they're just gonna talk, and they've been told you all this information within a matter of 3 to 5 minutes because you were too busy overly listening and not responding back, especially to the key pain points of what they're actually telling you. So rack, repeat, acknowledge, question. So I'll give you an example. Let's say your potential client says they've been working at a job for 10 years and have only been promoted once. You completely want to cut them off and stop them right there. This is called a tactical interruption, right? Because again, you are getting permission to do this diagnostic. You have asked them why they came to the phone call, right? They've agreed openly to have this conversation with you. So that means that if you interrupt them to dig deeper on something and to add more emotional pain and pull it out and AKA instigate. So yeah, I've been working at Sears for going over 10 years, man. I've only got promoted 1 time. And so you'll just cut them off. Hold on, repeat. Hold on, so you've been working there for 10 years and only been promoted 1 time, right? So you're repeating, then you want to acknowledge it. So acknowledging it is actually showing some type of empathy, right? So, wow, that sounds pretty like frustrating, man. Like 10 years and 1 promotion? How's that been affecting your personal life? Like, how's that affecting your family? I repeated what they told me. I acknowledged it by throwing an emotion on it, which you would like for it to be a negative emotion, right? A pain emotion. So that sounds pretty frustrating. That sounds pretty time consuming. You said that you wanted to evolve to here, but it sounds like you're kind of taking a step back. Like, how does that make you feel? How's that have been affecting your life? How's that have been affecting your children? So all you're doing, metaphorically speaking, is instigating, right? But you're doing it with the utmost respect, right? With the utmost empathy, with the utmost care, right? With the utmost love. You're not kicking them when they're down. People move when they see pictures and imagery and when emotions are placed on them. So all you're doing is just peeling back the layers and exposing them to the realism or what they're not noticing because they're in a day-to-day rut. A lot of the times we know exactly what we need to do to prosper and to get to a new level, but we tend not to do it. Why is that? It's because we have a certain mental image of ourselves in our minds. When your potential client is giving you the opportunity to allow you to listen and diagnose them, you got to be actively listening, ears wide open. And when they say something that's painful, such as they're not happy, or they lost their job, or they're not making enough money, or aren't satisfied with how things are going, whatever the situation is, when they start openly speaking and genuinely, concerningly telling you what the problems is, you can't skip over that. You can't just continue the conversation like you didn't hear it, because if you don't dig deeper, if you don't double back, if you don't rack, repeat, acknowledge questions, it doesn't exist. You have to bring it out of them, right? You got to be the person to let them understand it. They are not where they want to be right now, and that's not okay. You have to wake them up. right? You got to be that dominant person. You got to be that leader that's going to be transparent and help them to transform, because their family's not going to do it. Their friends not going to do it. Their job's not going to do it. It's going to take a big profit enrolling a specialist like you to do it.